Hello everyone and welcome back to Netmaster Zone channel. In this video I'm going to configure the user ID in Palo Alto Firewall. For user ID in Palo Alto we have two options. The first option is to install the agent in the Active Directory and then connect this firewall to that agent to retrieve the information from Active Directory. And the second one is to configure the Palo Alto native embedded agent in Palo Alto to retrieve the information from the Active Directory. There is also a video about user ID configuration in this channel with FortiGate, FSSO, FortiGate single sign-on, and in FortiGate we have only one option, and that is to install the agent in the Active Directory. But here let's configure the second option because it's much better and it's embedded, and it's we just need to configure our firewall to retrieve that information. Let's start our job with creating a specific and a special user for our configuration here in the firewall to be able to access and retrieve the information from the Active Directory. For that, let's go to our Windows server, and here in the Active Directory nmz.local is my domain, and I have a OU named lab, and inside that we have a OU named users. Let me create another user. Here you can see that I have Bob, Jake, and Sarah. They are belong to different groups here. And here now let's create a new user. Let me name that PA user ID. Same thing for user logged name, and here for password let's type a password here. And I don't want to this password change, and it should not expire, because if it's expired we are going to use this as a system user inside the Palo Alto, then that service will be stopped in the Palo Alto. Of course it will bring a lot of problems, because we are going to use this user to retrieve the Active Directory information and use that information inside our rules. If that information doesn't come to our firewall, and the rules will not work, and everything will be denied by the firewall. Now the user is created. Let's double click on that. This user needs special rights here, and by default is a member of domain users according to actually if you create a user by default it will be a member of domain user, but we need to include that in this users also, the distributed com user in this groups: distributed com user group, domain user, event log, remote desktop users, and server operator. Let's add these groups here in this list in the member of. Add the first one is distributed com user, and second one let me separate it with, I don't know, okay, let's add one by one. Add domain user is already is a member of domain user, and event log. We can add them one by one, but I need to type a semicolon here, dot semicolon, but my keyboard is not working correctly. Let's add one by one. Then remote desktop user, okay, and the last one is server operators. Now this user is member of 5 different groups here. The first one is just the user, and the other one you can see that they are built in groups inside Active Directory. Let's save this configuration. One thing more that I have to tell you, the Palo Alto using the WMI protocol for connecting to the Active Directory. For that, we need to actually configure the actually give rights to WMI here in the Windows. For that, let me type here MMC management console, and here let's bring that MMI console here, MMI control, add to the local computer, finish. Okay, now let's click on that and click properties. In the security tab, let's open this and CIMV2. Let's give a full right, actually add this user to add right here in this folder security, and here you can see we have different user, but let's add our PA user ID user here. And for the permissions, let's give it full permission. I don't know exactly which right actually is required here. I need to check the documentation. Of course, we need to check it and give it as less as possible rights and permission for every user. But now let's select everything here, apply, and okay. Okay, and I don't want to change this console. Now our user is ready. Let's go to our Palo Alto and start our configuration here. First of all, let's go to the device in setup and check something. First of all, let's check that if our domain is already configured here. Let's see that the domain name is, the domain name is configured here, nmz.local. It's important, it should be here. If it's not, we can click on this gear and configure this domain. The next one, let's go to the service, and in service also we need to make sure that our DNS server is configured correctly. I'm using 10.10.0.21, and that is the IP address of our Active Directory, and also is the DNS server. I use that as a primary DNS server, and for the secondary I'm using the Google DNS server here. Next, the NTP, it's already configured and it's okay. Next, we need to configure our service route configuration. Let me tell you that if this Palo Alto wants to access any external services like DNS, DHCP, LDAP, TACACS, and so on, by default it will goes to management interface to access these services. Here in this topology, in this design, actually the DNS server and LDAP server is connected to Ethernet 1x5, and it's inside the HQ. Then we need to change this port, this service route to this port to for Palo Alto to be able to access this configuration here. For that, let's click on it. Where I am in device, setup, services, and here service route configuration. Let's customize that. And first of all, let's go to DNS. You can see that I already have this configuration here. DNS is going to port 1x5. Next is LDAP. LDAP is also configured and it's on port 1x5. That's okay, but of course we can configure some other services if required here. For example, radius. Let's configure this radius also, and let's say that this radius is also connected to port Ethernet 1x5. Okay. Now let's commit our configuration first. I commit this configuration because before creating any LDAP server profile, it's required to this route be configured and committed, else we will not be able to receive the information from Active Directory. Now let's wait for this to finish, and then we will start our server profile configuration. Okay, the configuration committed successfully. Close. Now let's go to again in device. Here in server profiles, let's select LDAP. We need to create a LDAP server profile first. Let's click on add, and let me name that AD LDAP SRV. And this is the list of server that we can add here. I believe we only can add 4 servers, but we only have one here now, 81, the IP address 10.10.0.21, and port 389, it's unsecure port, and let's remove this SSL/TLS secured connection. Of course we can use it, but then we need a certificate for that, and also we need to change this port. Now let's select the type, it's Active Directory. For base DN, let's see. Base DN, you can see that this equal to NMZ and this equal to local. This two comes from the Active Directory here, and because we changed the route, the service route port here to this port, and now the Palo Alto is able to receive this information from Active Directory. You need to change this and then commit the configuration. Then you will be able to see this information. Else you can type it here, but of course you can type it, there is no problem, but you must change that port, else you will not be able to access this. Then the bind DN, let's use the administrator password, administrator user. And for the password, let's type the password. Administrator, for the user bind DN, we need to type administrator at nmz.local. This is the format that we'll use for bind DN here, and it should be written like this. Okay. Now our LDAP profile is created, and we just configure the user for that to have right to access the Active Directory. Now let's go to our user identification here and try to create this user identification. First, user ID, user identification, user mapping, and Palo Alto Network ID agent setup. Let's click on this gear, and here we need a username. The username is the user that we just created before, the PA user ID, and we give it specific rights. Let's use that. The format here is nmz.local /PA user ID. Here the format is different. It's not like that to type at and so on. We need to write it, type it like this. And for domain name is nmz.local, and the password for that user. The Kerberos server none profile, I'm not going to use that. Server monitor, client proben, cache, syslog filters, and so, and ignore user list. There are some other configuration, of course we can configure that. For example, in the ignore user list, we can ignore some groups that from monitoring, and also for the syslog we can configure here the regular expression to take this information from log server, from log. and also cache the time that this user identification will be cached inside the Palo Alto firewall, and also a client probing, we can configure that, and also server monitoring. For now, this part is enough. Let's click OK. And if everything is okay and correct, we should be able to discover our server. Of course, we can add it, name, and you can see the transport protocol by default is WMI, and here the network address. But let's click on discover and let's see. Yeah, in discover you can see that the server is discovered here, and its type is Active Directory, and the network address is ad.nmz.local. This is the DNS name of the Active Directory, and if I click on that, you can see it's only the name, the type, the protocol, and this is the network address. Okay, if I commit this configuration, it should show this status as connected. Let's see. Let's commit it. After finish the commit, this status should be green, and it should show it as a connect. Then we will be able to use this server and retrieve the information from the Active Directory. Now let's wait for this to finish. Okay, the configuration committed successfully. Let's close this, and this time let's go to group mapping setting. Here is the place that we can bring our groups to Palo Alto. But before that, let's go back here and let's refresh this, and it should show our connection connected, and it should be green, else we will not be able to access this group mapping. Let's go back. This status should be green, and it's connected and green. Now let's go to group mapping and let's create one. Let me name that AD groups, and the server profile is AD LDAP server profile. The rest is okay, but here in the group include list, this is the list of groups that we are going to have inside our Palo Alto to use them. Let's open this tree, and here you can see I have an OU named lab, and inside the lab there is a OU named groups, and they are the groups that it's already available in the Active Directory. Let's add them. Let me show you here. In groups I have finance, HR, and IT, and you can see that all of them just comes here. Now let's save this and let's commit it. Okay, during this time let's go and check our user here. Now this commit is in progress. Let's go to the lab, to the Windows, and let's see here. This is our Windows, and let me see if I log off. This PC should be joined off the domain because it's going to take the information from Active Directory, and I believe it's joined in the domain. Let's see. Yeah, it's a part of domain. Let's click on this, Bob and NMZ. Let's do something. Let me see. We have a user here. Which user is belong to IT? Jake is belong to IT. Before this, let's go and create our rules here. Now this commit is successful. Let's go to the policy and let's create a security policy here. By default, there is two security policies here. One of them is intrazone, and that is allowed. The interzone is denied. Now, if any user try to access the internet from this inside HQ to internet, it will be dropped here in the Palo Alto because there is no rule here. Let's create one. Let's name it IT _ deny. Let's deny something here. Let's deny IT deny internet, and it's just a name. For the source, let's select trust zone. The source address, let's select HQ, and for source user, here is important that we did all this configuration to see our users here. Let's see. Yeah, I have users here. Let's select this IT, and source device, let it be any. For destination, to untrust zone, address any address, destination device any. For the application, let's select, for example, ping. This is ping, and for destination address, let's add some address here. For example, I'm going to deny 8.8.4.4, and also I'm going to deny 1.2.3.4. Let's deny this to IP address first, and application ping is denied. Service and URL category is okay, and action is deny. Now we have a rule that deny this to IP address for IT users and for the application ping. Let's create another one, and let me this time name it IT allow any, and anything else is allowed. Source again is trust. Source IP address HQ, source users again, let's select IT and device any. For destination on trust, destination IP address and destination service, we are going to access the internet. Let be wide open, and for application anything, and for action is allowed. Okay, now let's see about this order. This one is deny and this one is allowed. The policy order is okay because if someone tried to ping this, it will deny here, but anything else will be match in this one and will be allowed for IT users. If I just change this to this one will go to the shadow, and everything will match in the first one and will be allowed. Now let's commit this, and then we can go to our user and test this. Let's see in Active Directory, as I said, the Jake is in IT team. Let's log in with Jake user here in this PC. Switch user Jake and password. Okay, now let's go to the CMD, and here let me try to ping to 8.8.8.8-d. Now it's drop because actually it's now is matching in this rule, and it will deny everything because from interzone, from trust to untrust is denied, and it's match here. Let's finish this commit, and then we can check it again. Now you can see it's allowed. It means that this configuration is committed successfully. Okay, and here this time this ping actually is match in the second rule, and you can see here the it count is getting is increasing. It's 30. Let's check it again. It's 41 and it's increasing. But if I try to ping, for example, let's ping to 1.2.3.4-T, and you can see that 1.2.3.4 I cannot ping it from the PC. But let's try it from my own PC at least. Let's make sure that this 1.2.3.4 is accessible in the internet or not. Ping 1.2.3.4. No. Okay, let's try to ping 8.8.4.4. Here you can see this is my PC that I'm recording this video. 8.8.4.4 is accessible and I can ping it. But let's try it here in this PC that is behind the firewall, 8.8.4.4. You can see now this time this ping will match here in this first rule, and if I refresh this, you will see that this hit count will increase, and it shows that this IP address is actually matching in this rule. Yeah, you can see that 13, 16, and it's actually matching. Not this one is matching in this rule, and it will deny. That is because this rule say any user belong to IT. If we want to access to 8.8.4.4 with the application ping, just deny that. But anything else is allowed. For example, if I ping to www.yahoo.com, I should be able to ping it normally and there is no problem. And if I change this user, let's log off this user and try to log in with another user. Let's log in with user, for example, Bob, and Bob is belong to finance, and finance doesn't have right to access internet at all, and it should not be able to ping anything. Switch user, username Bob, CMD. Let me try to ping to anything 8.8.8.8-T. You can see that it's not allowed, and it's just matching this rule and drop, because this we have only two rules that allow. The first one is for IT user, and the second one is intrazone. But this one is it's not intrazone, it's interzone. It's from trust to untrust, and it will match in this rule and drop. Of course, we can make a rule for this user also if they are belong to this user, and they will be allowed. Let's do that. Let's create another rule for finance user. Finance users. Source is trust. Source IP address HQ. Source user finance, and device any for destination. Let's select on trust zone, any destination, any device, application, any category, any action allowed. Okay. And now let's see where we should put this finance user. It should go down. Move down. This one should go more up. Finance, and now if it doesn't match to any of this, it will come to the finance user and it will be allowed. And let me show you here. This is for IT and this one is for finance user. Let's commit this. After this commit, Bob should be able to ping to internet and to access the internet without any problem. Let's see. And you can see that the commit means that the commit is successful, and it's the user now is able to ping to 8.8.8.8, and it's match in this rule. Let me refresh that, and you will see the hits count of that here. Yeah, and you can see here that the finance user, the Bob, now is matching in this user in this group, in this rule, and can access the internet. Okay, this was part of the user ID, and actually the user ID has another goal, and that is in monitoring for traffic view. Unfortunately, in the Palo Alto video evaluation license, this log is disabled, and I cannot see any log here, unfortunately. But if it was allowed, then it will easily show the information about the user here also. Let me see, and for example, I want to have a user here. Let me see if there is any user is already here or not. Information about the user source, user source. You can see that as I said, the log is disabled, but if it's not, then it will show the user here and map the IP address to the user, and we can easily know that which user is accessing which resources. Also, if we think about the GlobalProtect, and for example, IT user when try to access the resources inside the cooperative network, it will goes to its related resources. For example, IT will access to everything, and finance will have only access to the finance server. For now, let's finish our video here. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video soon.